The Sinaloa Cartel, or in Espanol, el Cártel de Sinaloa, is a large international organized crime syndicate known for illegal trafficking and money laundering. The CDS, Guzmán-Loera Organization, Pacific Cartel, Federation, and Blood Alliance are some of its other names. It was founded in the late 1980s, Mexico, as one of several subordinate plazas under the Guadalajara Cartel. It's currently headquartered in Culiacán, Sinaloa, in Mexico, but it has numerous foreign activities. The Sinaloa Cartel is largely regarded as the most powerful trafficking group in the world, possibly even more powerful and capable than Colombia's infamous Medellin cartel during its peak. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the net worth assets of the Sinaloa Cartel and its boss, El Chapo. We will thoroughly examine it, so stay with us till the end. And before we start, subscribe to our channel. El Chapo, the Sinaloa Cartel's CEO, is the world's most powerful drug trafficker. The cartel is thought to be responsible for 25% of all illegal drugs entering the United States through Mexico. El Chapo's net worth is currently estimated to be $3 billion. El Chapo is regarded as one of the world's most powerful drug smugglers. According to authorities, El Chapo has more than $400 million in U.S. currency, stashed in various locations of Mexico. El Chapo's children acquired his empire as well as his fortune once he was apprehended by the DEA. El Chapo's net worth is currently estimated to be $3 billion. El Chapo's net worth peaked at more than $26 billion in 2010. $3 billion in net worth. The highest net worth is $26 billion, $400 million in cash reserves, $70 million in gold and diamonds, $2 billion in inventory, and $350 million in assets, $90 million in investments. El Chapo's net worth topped $26 billion at the height of his empire between 2005 and 11, placing him among the world's top 20 richest persons. During that time, El Chapo had more than $15 billion in drugs. It's almost 60 tons ready to be delivered to the United States from several facilities in Sinaloa. Look into the Rockefeller family wealth. Every day, money from the United States poured into Mexico. El Chapo is alleged to have gotten more than $100 million in cash per day from drug sales. Because such a large cash pile can't be laundered, El Chapo began purchasing safe homes to store it. Mexican authorities discovered almost $180 million in cash concealed in one of El Chapo's safe homes when he was apprehended. El Chapo's sons currently manage over 50 safe houses in Mexico, with an estimated $400 million in cash held inside. The DEA has several frozen bank accounts associated with the Sinaloa Cartel, and over $700 million in cash deposits in those accounts have been returned to the United States. El Chapo began his job with a low pay of $2 per day. El Chapo's net worth surpassed $1 million in 1992. El Chapo's net fortune had surpassed $1 billion by 2005. El Chapo's net wealth was $19 billion by the time of his capture. Following his capture, El Chapo's fortune was divided equally amongst his children. A Chinese businessman called Gan Jianbing will be jailed in a Chicago courtroom early next year for laundering just over $10 million in Chapo's drug money. Since 2009, Chinese players have been secretly and quickly shifting large sums of El Chapo. Chinese money brokers headquartered in Mexico have come to dominate worldwide money laundering marketplaces with the help of El Chapo. El Chapo collaborated with accountants to take advantage of the banking systems in the United States and Europe, depositing quantities less than $10,000 to evade Bank Secrecy Act. Reporting restrictions is El Chapo's most common way of laundering money. One of the most successful methods for cleaning big amounts of cash is through trade-based money laundering, a tactic El Chapo refined into an art form. El Chapo accomplished this by purchasing easily sold products like clothing or electronics from a legal corporation in the United States and then selling them for pesos on the opposite side of the border. The Golden Triangle of Mexico, which consists of the states of Sinaloa, Durango, and Chihuahua, is where the majority of cartel's activities take place. Opium and marijuana are both produced in significant quantities in this region of Mexico. Law enforcement agencies regularly seize the greatest quantity of fentanyl in the Golden Triangle, which is typically measured in kilos, or pills that have been compressed. The cartel is now led by Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garza and Guzman's sons, Jesus Alfredo Guzman Salazar, Ovidio Guzman Lopez, and Ivan Archibaldo Guzman Salazar. Following the capture of its previous leader, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, in 2016. Various publications, however, claim that the Guzman and Zambada factions of the organization are at odds. The feud between these two parts of the cartel is said to have been started or aggravated by the Battle of Culiacán event, in which El Mayo allegedly refused to intervene in the battle between the cartel and the Mexican National Guard following the abduction of El Chapo's son, Ovidio Guzman. The cartel is a substantial drug and illicit substance importer into the United States. According to the U.S. Attorney General, the Sinaloa Cartel was responsible for smuggling and distributing almost 200 short tons of cocaine and considerable volumes of heroin into the United States between 1990 and 2008. It also runs big methamphetamine markets in cities across the United States. American government agencies and the national media refer to San Diego, California as America's epicenter for fentanyl trafficking. It's said to have illegal marijuana growing operations in California's isolated forests and deserts. In addition, the cartel is a significant source of fentanyl. The majority of the cartel's heroin is currently mixed with fentanyl or other chemical analogs that are connected to it in order to increase the potency of the drug in a manner that's both economical and efficient. In addition to this, it produces fake pills known as the M30 that have the appearance of oxycodone pills of pharmaceutical grade, but they're reported to contain no actual oxycodone. In the United States, there was a correlation between the use of fentanyl and an increase in the number of deaths caused by accidental overdoses. Most of the conflicts between the Federation and the rapidly growing Jalisco New Generation Cartel take place in the Mexican states of Baja California, Zacatecas, now spilling over into Jalisco, Sonora, Chiapas, and Colima for control of drug trafficking routes. The Federation's main competitor appears to be the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. As of the year 2021, the Sinaloa Organization is the most active Mexican cartel operating within Colombian territory. It's believed that they've worked along with the National Liberation Army, dissidents of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, and the neo-paramilitary group Clan del Golfo, whom they are said to have financially supported. At least 5 distinct regions in Colombia are now involved in the conflict between the gangs from Sinaloa and Jalisco, as reported by a newspaper from Colombia called El Tiempo. There is a direct correlation between the geographic presence of Mexican cartels in Colombia and areas of the country with major narco-trafficking corridors, or areas with higher concentrations of coca crops. These areas include the Pacific coast of Nario, Catatumbo, Bajo Cauca in Antioquia, Norte del Cauca, and Magdalena in the first 2 months of 2021. Violent events, which were exacerbated by Mexican trafficking gangs, forced more than 11,000 people from their communities within Colombia, according to the Ombudsman's Office, which is an autonomous institution within the Colombian Attorney General's office. The Sinaloa Cartel has a presence of at least 22 of Mexico's 31 states, with major hubs in Mexico City, Tepic, Toluca, Zacatecas, Guadalajara, and the majority of Sinaloa. The cartel's primary activities include the smuggling and distribution of South American cocaine, Mexican marijuana, methamphetamine, and fentanyl, as well as Mexican and Southeast Asian heroin into the United States. However, majority of the marijuana being farmed and traded by the cartel is grown illegally in remote areas of California within the United States. So, it was all about the Sinaloa cartels and El Chapo's net assets. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, share your thoughts on the cartels and El Chapo's net assets in the comment area. We'll see you in the next one.